Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sernest McSwain Palmer, and I'd like to share my experience conducting an informational interview as part of my professional developmental journey. I had the opportunity to interview Raheem Milner, a current qualified mental health professional and a clinical addiction intern who is in the final phase of his internship. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through how I connect with him, what went well, and what I'll do differently, and the key insights I took away from our conversation. How I got the interviewee name and contact information. I first heard about Raheem through a facility member in my program who I knew I was interested in intersection of mental health and addiction counseling. She recommended him as someone who was not only active in the field, but also still close to the student experience, which made him highly relatable. I found him on LinkedIn, read through some of his professional posts, and reached out to him via direct message. I then followed up with a short email to formally request the informal interview. Raheem was very responsive and appreciate my initiation, and we scheduled a conversation over Zoom. What went well and what could have gone better? One of the best parts of this process is how the candidate Raheem was. Because he currently finished his internship, he could speak directly to the realities of balancing coursework, supervision, and clinical experience. He gave me his honest advice about the challenges of working with high-need population and emphasized the importance of self-awareness and boundaries in the addiction counseling. The flow of our conversation felt natural, and I think that was helped by the fact that I came in with targeted, thoughtful questions. What I could have done better was the follow-up. I did send a thank you message the next day, but I realized after that I did not ask him for any specific resources or additional contacts. He mentioned some great readings and training during our conversation, and I should have followed up to ask for more detailed recommendations or even conversation or copy of supervision templates. Also, I could have asked if he could open up for a second, shorter conversation down to the line as I continue in the program. A value lesson I learned. One thing Raheem said that stuck with me was, don't be afraid to define your clinical identity early, even if you're still learning. He explained that early in his career, he tried to do everything and everything to everyone, for everyone. But as he continued with more experience, he realized the power of developing a specialty, in his case, working with clients dealing with trauma and substance use. That helped him find more satisfaction in his work and become more effective with his clients. Another major insight was how he viewed clinical supervision. He said that it's not just a requirement for leisure, it's one for best tools for growth, if you treat it as such. That changes was my outlook, and now I plan to be more intentional about finding a supervisor who approach aligns with my values and my communication styles. What I do better next time I conduct an informational interview, I'll go in with a specific ask in mind. Whether it's asking for a reading list, tip on applying for certain types of internships, or introduction to someone else in the field, I wanted to be more specific in how I use the time. I also plan to be more structured in my follow-up sending a message that highlighting the keys and takeaways from the interview and offering to stay in touch. That kind of professional relationship building does not happen by accident. It takes intention. The conclusion, all in all, the interview with Raheem gave me more than information. It gave me direction and inspiration. It reminded me that even professionals who are just a few steps away from me have wisdom worth hearing. I plan to carry what I learned into my next interviews and into my own development as a future clinician.